Hello everybody and welcome back to LMM, and if you're enjoying what you're seeing on the channel at the moment, how about giving this video a like and maybe subscribing to the channel to help us grow, and perhaps even check out our Patreon. A long time and 100,000 subscribers ago, we shot a video introducing you to the LMM team to celebrate hitting 20,000 subscribers. Now, a lot has changed in the subsequent 100,000 subscribers, and there's now a brand new team. So we thought it was time to introduce them to you guys. And we're going to start off with the most basic things.
My name is Tom.
I'm Lozz.
My name's Dave.
I'm Lawrie. Welcome to LMM. You might think the question of how did I get roped into helping with my own channel to be a bit of a boring one, but actually I didn't start LMM. That honour goes to JM of JM of Cars, you know, the 400,000 subscriber mega car channel. Back in the day, I helped him. In fact, I filmed every single episode from about episode 3 all the way up to about 20,000 subscribers, at which point I started to shoot my own content for his channel. And very quickly it became apparent that the kind of content that I want to make wasn't the kind of content that his audience wanted to watch. So JM decided that I should have my own channel and signed up and started The Tinkerer, as it was called. And then said, here you go, Lawrie. You're not doing JM Cars anymore, you're doing that. So we held a competition on his channel to come up with a name for it, and Laurie's Mechanical Marvels was the one I liked the most. And that's how I got to be roped in to help with my own channel.
So my engagement with LMM really started back in the day of the Wreckfest streams on a Wednesday night. We used to come along, have a good laugh, everyone would crash into each other. And from there really, my friendship with Lawrie grew. We spent more and more time together on projects, helping out with things. And from there, it sort of just led to where it is now, where we all get to come along and enjoy the ride of LMM and enjoy all the benefits it comes with playing about with stupid vehicles, going on these cool adventures. It's pretty cool how it's turned out.
Back during COVID times, I hosted some game servers for LMM while they were doing their gaming streams, and it just sort of kept on going from there, really. Now I end up being dragged all over the place to go help out. It's good fun.
I've been friends with Lawrie for quite a while. We are very good friends, and gradually over time I seem to have gotten more and more involved. I think that must be my unique skill set or something, but it's taken a long time to get to the point where suddenly, boom, voluntold, I'm doing things. How exciting.
One. Well, there's one of me. There's only one Lozz. That's me.
Including me at the moment, there are 8 members of LMM. That includes our webmaster and IT guy, Ben, who does a bit of editing and helps me with filming, Craig, who is the muscle, and then the mysterious Mr. Producer who organises the podcast. And then obviously there's the others.
How many people in my house? Because currently it's 1. I hope it's 1. If it's more than 1, we might have an issue. What was that?
1, 2, 3. Should be 4 on this video. If not, the edit has gone very wrong.
I know Lozz owns a Z4 because he's one of the reasons I have a Z4. He's also got his Citroen and a Lotus and a couple of other things. Dave's got his Jag and a Mini and loads of bikes that are all just over my head because I don't really care about bikes. And I'm not even going to attempt to delve into the disaster which is Laurie's vehicle ownership, because this video has to be done at some point and also can't be 5 hours long.
Well, Tom has a paperweight. He's going to hate me for that, but he'd probably agree as well in some respect. He's also got a Merc with stupidly high economy that we absolutely despise. Lozz, I believe he's got 3 vehicles. He's got his Z4, his Citroen Baguette-mobile, and some flying car that's floating in the air. I think it was a Lowtie or some kind of thing. And Lawrie, well, we've all lost count, haven't we? It's 30 and a lot of vehicles he's got.
And for my own vehicles, well, they're shown across the channel, or check out the website where all of my vehicles are now on display with additional photos and information about them for you guys to check out.
Lawrie has too many to list. Tom has his BMW Z4 and his Mercedes something or other that gets 70 plus miles to the gallon, which is very rude. And Deej has a Jaguar with a broken engine, a BMW Mini, and a fleet of bikes, herd of bikes, school of bikes. What's the collective term for bikes?
Define broken down, because that could be anything from 1 to 5. Depends if you count, what flat tyres breakdown. Not really. Melting the piston of a motorbike. Yeah, I've done that one. That's great fun. So yeah, a few times.
4. Since I started driving, I've had 4 breakdowns, and they've all been pretty minor, really. The only notable one was when my first car died. It was a 1.2 litre Renault Clio with 149,998 miles when it put a hole in the side of the engine block, and that was that, really. Apparently it left an oil trail down the motorway for upwards of a mile.
Now it depends what vehicle we're talking about, because one of them has never broken down on me, touch wood. The other one, on the other hand, it all depends what metric you'd like it in. If you'd like it in hours, it's probably 3 times in the last hour.
How many times I've broken down has become a bit of a long-running joke on the channel, but it's actually not as many as you'd think. Jupes has broken down twice, once before the channel when it got stuck on the fuel pump at Tesco, and once you saw in the video when I was on my way to a wedding. The Mini has broken down once, although I've had 2 punctures that needed to be recovered in it, so that's 3 times. The 106 has broken down twice. The Turbo MR2, the wheel fell off that on our trip to Wales, so I guess that's a breakdown, and the clutch failed on it, which needed recovery. But that's it. It's not actually as many as you'd think. Oh, and the Reliant broke down. That broke down on Lemons. Yeah, that was that. And there's another one, but that's to come out in a video. But really, it's not that many times at all. Really, it's under the average amount of breaking down for a normal human being. My favourite thing to do in the shed is to drive a vehicle out after we finish working on it. There's no greater sensation of actually getting something out onto the road and being like, yeah, we did this, we fixed it, we took this apart, we stripped it, we did whatever. The sensation of actually getting back out on the road is just incredible. So my favourite thing to do in the shed is to drive away from the shed.
Honestly, my favourite thing to do in the shed is to take parts off Laurie's working vehicles and hide them in his non-working vehicles, just to increase the number of non-working vehicles. I don't think he's realised I'm doing it yet, but I figure there's got to be a way to keep what's broken now going, because if he fixes everything, then that'll be the end of that series, right? That's how that works.
I like to eat the snacks, but I have to provide the snacks because Lawrie forgets to bring the snacks, so...
Finding an excuse to drive Jupes, obviously, and tidying the shed up so that Lawrie doesn't know where things are. Definitely a space hopper. No, it's a car.
Spacecraft? I mean, no. I wish. My favourite mode of transportation is motorbike, because what traffic.
Now, everyone thinks my favourite form of transportation is train to travel via rail, but actually, if I have to go somewhere, I want to drive. I love driving cars. I absolutely adore it. As much as I enjoy driving steam engines, and I think that's pretty much the best thing ever, if I have to go somewhere, it's got to be a car. So my favourite form of transportation is steam engines. I think they're wonderful, I love them, but if I'm going to go on a journey, I'm going to go get in my car and go direct to where I need to go and get out of my car. I don't want to get on a bus to go to the bus station, to then get another bus to go to the train station, to get onto a train to go to London, to then go across London to go pick up another train to go somewhere vaguely near where I want to go, to then get on a bus to go to a bus station which is probably nowhere near where I want to go, to then walk or get a taxi, because I'll just end up in a car. So, I like driving. I like driving things.
This will come as no surprise to all of you. Cars. I love cars. 4 wheels, 2 seats. Perfect. Again, sometimes you need more than 2 seats. But that's the joy of cars. They're versatile. Some have more than 2 seats. Perfect. Yeah, cars.
Are there interesting hobbies? I like a motorbike or 4. I have a small collection of them. Really enjoy riding them. tinkering on them. I really do enjoy the model rail as well. Used to do that when I was a lot younger, but as I've gotten older, grew out of it. Now I'm growing back into it again, letting the inner child out. Other hobbies, music, a little bit. I love vinyl. Little collection, brewing downstairs with that, and Star Trek, because it's life.
Most of my hobbies and interests are really showcased across the channel. There's a couple of things that we don't really do. I really love Lego. I love building Lego, particularly Technic. I used to really love Warhammer 40k. I don't do it much anymore because I just don't have the time. And things like Dungeons and Dragons, board games, I'm really into that kind of stuff. Although again, haven't played D&D for ages because just don't have the time. Occasionally I like a bit of PC gaming as well, but that's it. I like to read, but again, don't really get much time to do that, so yeah.
I play D&D. I play D&D pretty much bi-weekly. It's very fun. I'm a monk. There you go, I'm a level 7 monk. I like punching things and kicking.
I really enjoy photography, video editing. I've just volunteered for more stuff again now, haven't I?
Tom. It's Tom.
Tom is the most easily annoyed. All you have to do is just look at him the wrong way and he becomes annoyed.
Out of all of us, the person who gets annoyed the most easily is Tom. Frequently, we'll have a phone call which will just degrade down into basic animal noises as he's got really annoyed with something, and it just kind of goes into talkie to a rah 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 rah.
I'm editing this, and I don't need to see the footage to know what they've said. As he's the only person I've not been in a vehicle with that he's been driving, sorry Dave, it's got to be you, mate.
I'm going to have to go with Lozz, because I've been in a car with him on a couple of occasions where I've gone, and I haven't done that with the other guys. Also, Dave rides motorbikes, which means as he's still going, he must be relatively good at it, and Tom drives commercial lorries. So he's got to be good at that. So, and I'm not going to vote for myself because I've driven more vehicles than all of them combined. Therefore, it must be Lozz.
This is obviously quite a difficult question because, like, I've never been in a car with any of the others driving and felt unsafe. The only person I haven't been in a car with while they're driving is Deej. So I guess that he's the unknown Deej? But that seems unfair. I don't really know, to be honest. Me? Just go with me because I'm not insulting them.
I'm the worst driver because I've destroyed the most cars. But I was very young at the time, so I haven't destroyed any in at least the last 15 years.
Tom, you never know if he's happy. It's just constantly. Apart from when he's driving Jupes, in which case there's a smile. The rest of the time, I've got no idea what his emotions are, to be honest. I'm sorry, Tom.
This may come as no shock to you all. It's Tom.
Tom has the best resting grumpy face. Just look at him. He's apparently got a scowl on that. What are you looking at?
Lawrie.
Oh, that's easy. It's Lawrie. If we don't have his trailer with us when we go out filming, and especially like a bowl of only blue M&Ms, that's it. He goes crazy. It makes the day so much more difficult to deal with.
Lawrie is definitely the biggest diva out of all of us. Especially when he gets all excitable over something. Oh, he gets high-pitched and makes happy Lawrie noises.
They've all said it's me, haven't they? It's probably fair.
Do you really need to ask the question of as to who the most eccentric is? Of course it's Lawrie. You know it's Lawrie. He's the one with the most vehicle. He's the one with the weird habits of getting stuff. It's Lawrie. He's definitely the most eccentric. Although I thought to be eccentric he had to be rich.
Lawrie.
Now the obvious answer for this one is probably Lawrie, but actually I reckon it's Deej. He seems like the kind of guy who in about 20 years is going to be living on a houseboat and brewing his own moonshine.
They've all said it's me again, haven't they? I mean, that probably is fair. I've got a fairly substantial collection of vehicles, so yeah.
I'm going to have to say Tom's the safest driver. I mean, we joke about him being a granddad driver and that kind of stuff, so yeah, it's going to be Tom.
Lozz is apparently the safest driver as he's never had an accident. I better touch some wood.
The safest driver is probably Tom, because he does it commercially and he's on the road a lot and he knows what he's doing and can drive the big lorry things.
Possibly Lozz because he's never had an accident regardless of fault, but I'd also like to say me because I've been accused of being an old man.
It's Tom. Tom's definitely the one who's least likely to go out and be like, oh, I've bought a fire engine.
None of us are financially responsible. Look at us, we're doing things like this. We're just not financially responsible whatsoever. I'm not allowed out of the house without with my credit card anymore because of issues in the past. Oh no, I've just bought a Harley Davidson.
Probably none of us.
Again, it's got to be Tom. He owns a house.
I remember back in the day on Top Gear, there was a company that would take a Jensen Interceptor away, put the engine from a Corvette in it, update some of the suspension and all those sort of components, give you the car back, and you'd basically have something that looked like a Jensen Interceptor with a much better engine that was more modern. Everything sort of just worked, but obviously it still looked like an Interceptor. So probably one of those.
Oh, this is a fun one. What vehicle would I love to own? I mean, money no object, Lexus LFA, Pagani Zonda, they're both like over $1 million now, but I have a soft spot for, like, you know, the American classics, like a 70s Dodge Challenger, that'd be amazing, or like some 90s JDM like a Supra, or an FD Mazda RX-7, or I want like a Volkswagen Samba bus, or a Volkswagen Beetle, or I also want a Land Rover 110 and a Land Rover 90. I want all of them. Yeah, the list just goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. I think Tom will murder me if I list too many off, which I probably already have.
Please can I have my own loco soon? I want my own one. I need my own one. Desire my own one.
If money was no object, I'd like to have a whole fleet of full-size steam engines. Like, I'd love to save some stuff from out in Poland and get it running again, because there doesn't seem to be much preservation out there. There's a load of engines I saw when I was in China that I'd love to be able to save, and some stuff in South Africa. I'd love to be able to spend money and just look after those engines. A slightly more realistic version of that, I would like one of those massive diggers. You know, the massive Caterpillar ones which need to be transported around on several lorries and disassembled to be moved. And I'd like a large field, and I'd like to dig a big hole. And I'd like to keep digging this big hole until I can't dig a hole anymore. That's the thing I'd like to do as a slightly more realistic aim, but buy many steam engines is the answer.
I'd be having therapy to cure the scars from LMM if I wasn't doing LMM.
If I wasn't doing LMM, well, I guess there's a chance I might still be doing stuff with JM on cars. And if I wasn't doing stuff with JM on cars, perhaps I might still be working in the film industry. Or if I wasn't doing that, I'd probably fallen back and still be driving lorries commercially like Tom.
I'd probably have a social life. That'd be really nice. Have a social life outside of like the 3 people with LMM.
Probably not sitting at my computer at 1 in the morning trying to edit videos having just done a full day at work. Probably the revival of Jupes is one of the good ones, getting it to the stage that it is at the moment, where we've been able to go out to shows with it, take it to Rustival like we did, Caffeine and Machine, Ipswich to Felixstowe Road Run. None of those things would have been possible without working on that truck. It's also things like the Rustons, bringing them back from scrap, all the work that goes into doing that. You know, it's quite an interesting thing to be part of. How many people can say that they've been involved with the restoration of a loco that one day will be back on the rails working as it used to?
It'd probably have to be the Lotus Elite body swap that was fairly recently on What's Broken Now. I mean, I think as a project to work on, it wasn't anything super special as such, but it was the first thing in the shed that I really got involved in, and that means something. That was very cool at the time.
Anytime I'm on the footplate of a locomotive, I'm always a bit like, whoa, I get to do this sometimes. Great fun. It's magic. If you thoroughly recommend it, get a driver experience, see how you like it. You'd probably get hooked.
I think for me, the one project that so far that I've stood back from and been like, this is incredible, has been working on the locomotives and been like, these are mine, and we're working on them and we're restoring them. And this is something I've always wanted to do, was to get a locomotive from a scrapyard and restore it. And actually to be doing that is one of those things that I just step back and go, I can't believe this is real. I can't believe we get to do this. It's just absolutely mental.
Define nerd? I mean, nerd?
The biggest nerd, that's got to be a toss-up between Lozz and Dave, and it's probably going to be Dave, because although Lozz is definitely a geek and definitely a nerd and has many bits of Japanese stuff and likes his comics and his animes, Dave has tattoos. Dave has a tattoo of Star Trek. In fact, I think Dave has 2 Star Trek tattoos, and that means that he is a proper nerd. A cool nerd, because he's got Star Trek tattoos, but a nerd.
Dave. Probably Dave. Sorry, Dave. You've got a Star Trek tattoo, Dave. It's Dave.
Oh, no question, it's Deej. He is absolutely the biggest nerd. He has a tattoo on his arm of Lord of the Stars of the Rings Trek, the Philosopher's Secret? Something. I think that's what it is.
I think Lozz is the tallest, Dave's the shortest, and Lawrie's probably the person that sounds different because sometimes he sounds intelligent.
Tallest is me or Lawrie, shortest is Deej, and sounds most unlike how they look. That's probably Tom. He sounds very Essexy, but he dresses like, well, my granddad. Sorry, Tom.
I think I'm the tallest. Who is the tallest? I think it's me. It's either me or Lozz anyway. Then the shortest is Dave. And the person who sounds the most unlike, like Dave looks like he's going to be a gruff biker and be like, all right, what are you doing? You looked at me wrong. Oh, I'm going to get you because you looked at me wrong. But actually, he's just really nice and friendly. So, probably Dave.
Well, I'm short. Blame my father for that one. He can't really defend himself. So I have to look up to everybody. So I'm not really too sure who's the tallest. They're just all bigger than me. And we all sound like how we look because we know each other.
I mean, my first train set was the Lego 9-volt system. It was a black sort of intercity-esque looking thing with like these little cargo pods and sleeping pods that you can like take off with a forklift truck and swap out, and that was very cool. My first toy, probably a stuffed toy my parents gave me when I was born. I don't know, that's going back a few years. I don't remember that. I wasn't born yet.
I think my first toy was probably some form of RC car or Lego, something car related. And as for my first train set, I had a 3-car DMU box with a BR Blue Class 101. And that's good for me to remember because I don't remember trains.
That is a banned subject. Not allowed to talk about that.
The first toy I can remember, I remember getting Edward from Thomas the Tank Engine. Apparently that was the first train that I'd seen, and then that started up the obsession. But my first train set was, if you cast your minds way back, those of you who are like the similar age to me, there was a starter set from Hornby, and it was a red 040 with a yellow smokebox door, blue wheels and yellow frames. It was a proper toy. And it came in a carry case with batteries. So the station was the bottom of it. There was a tunnel that went up, and it all kind of packed together into this case, so you could carry it places and set it up wherever. That was my first train set, and I sold it as part exchange to buy. I can't remember what I got. I took it to the local model shop and traded it in to buy something else. I always kind of regretted it because it was such a fun toy. And one day I'll probably end up buying another one. I mean, they were proper plastic, but that was what I started off with. I love Suffolk. I really, really love Suffolk and East Anglia. I love being up in the fens. I don't know if you guys have been to the fens, but it's just flat. You're driving along and it's just utterly flat. And sometimes you're on the kind of the embankments higher than the water, and it's just everywhere around you. And in the winter, it's just wonderfully bleak. The cloud and the fog comes down and it's all grey, and it's just, there's nothing, absolutely nothing. I love being in the fens. It's just spectacularly bleak. Conversely, I love Wales, utterly love like mid and north Wales, but really it's the west coast of Scotland. Any excuse to get back up to the west coast of Scotland, I will take it. The scenery is spectacular, the roads are amazing, turn after turn, and if you go at the right time of year, there's like nobody there, and it's just incredible. We're going to be doing more stuff in Scotland.
I do really enjoy the Lake District. It's beautiful scenery, lovely people, lovely clean, crisp air as well. If you've not been, you need to go.
Oh, no question, my favourite part of the UK is Wales. It is so pretty, the roads are incredible. People are friendly as well from my experience. It's a brilliant place.
I really like the Peak District. I used to go and do day trips over there. It's not that far from me. You can get there, drive around, come back in a day. The scenery's brilliant. They've got some great roads over there. And as I say, it's not that far away. It's not like going up to Scotland. It's on your doorstep. For me, it's got to be Roaming Red engines or What's Broken Now, mainly because I edit both of them, but also because they're both vehicle related, and that's the sort of stuff that I'm into.
That'd have to be LMM / the Road Trip Adventures. They're just so much fun to make and work on. And the end product is usually amazing. Usually, what am I saying? They're always amazing.
I love me a bit of Lawrie Goes Loco, but I think that's just because I edit it. And I like trains.
My favourite series on LMM is Lawrie Goes Loco. I love getting to drive locomotives on different railways. If I had the time, I would love to volunteer on every single railway in this country. I love heritage railways, I love the people at heritage railways, and I love that atmosphere and being part of heritage. So, in a way, when I get to go to different railways, I get to be part of that. I get to be part of that railway for a little bit when I drive that, and as doing the video and helping to promote that railway for a little while, I'm part of that railway, and that I love all of that.
Out of all the adventures we've done, taking Jupes to Rusterville, going via Caffeine and Machine, turning into Caffeine and Machine and seeing all these people filming, that whole trip was probably one of the funniest and most enjoyable trips that I've done in a vehicle in an awfully long time. But also breaking Laurie's spine in the back of a Toyota Alphard.
That's it, you're just not having a chair then. Oh look, he's perfect in line to watch B-movie now, you sad.
Helping Tom break Laurie's spine in the Toyota Alphard going back and forth to the NEC when we were up there playing with the Modular.
Oh my god!
That would have to be taking Jupes to Caffeine and Machine. Like, that was just so much fun. And the reaction of everybody when we arrived as well. I think there was a Porsche event going on at the time, and just suddenly everybody turned and looked at the massive red fire engine pulling up. It was brilliant. Or the time I watched B-movie in the back of a Toyota Alphard.
Which one of you has drawn the nice happy trees together? What? What?
I think the best adventure that we've had on LMM was our ill-fated trip up to Skye, where absolutely everything went wrong. The 106 broke down twice, the MR2 broke down 3 times, and Morgan's BMW broke down so badly it had to be taken home on a lorry. There were so many trials and tribulations. It just brought us all closer together as a team, and looking back on it, it was just a really good laugh. Of course, the greatest thing was we all told Morgan before we went, we were like, you need to have breakdown cover for this trip. We're going to be doing well over 1,000 miles. And he went, no, I drive a BMW. BMWs don't go wrong. And of course, that was the car that went wrong in the biggest way. So we had to phone up and get breakdown cover. And they went, oh yes, well, there's a cooling off period, you know, you can't just phone up, have yourself breakdown cover, and then we'll come get you. Oh yes, no, I haven't broken down. So we abandoned his car, drove up to Skye, had a day on Skye, and then phoned up the next day and was like, oh no, would you believe it? My car's broken down. So I had to then drive Morgan down to where he'd broken down off Skye in my 106 that had been patched up by a guy at the side of the road the night before. Then take him to Stirling and drop him off in Stirling for him to go home, as that was his trip over, and then go back up to Skye to meet Matt. I did like 12 hours driving that day. It was ridiculous, but I didn't mind because I got to drive the stunning roads, and it was amazing. But it was a trip. But I'll always remember that, as particularly being on Skye that evening as the sun went down, and we ran off into the sea together. It was a really, really good trip, and I don't think I'll ever forget that one as long as I live.
Trains confuse me. They're not my strong point. I'm not mega into trains, so I'm not even gonna guess.
There are 3 steam engines that I would love to see come back. Chief amongst these is one of the Mid-Suffolk Light Railway tank engines. I'd love to see a new build of those, just trundling up and down at the Mid-Suffolk Light Railway. I think that would be amazing. There are several similar engines, but I'd just love to see a proper one built. That's my real wish. Then number 2, I would love to see a J70 tram back. They used to run in Ipswich, and so I feel a connection to them. I just think they're such a weird, unusual engine. Such a shame they didn't survive. I would love to see a J70, so that's a project I'd get behind. And then finally, I'd like to see Fury. Yep, the 900 PSI LMS experimental engine. I'd love to see that come back and done properly, because the original one, as you might expect with 900 PSI, went bang in a big way. But I'd like to see that. I think if you're going to build something mad and do Fury, because can you imagine what 900 PSI would do? I just think that would be amazing.
LMS Fowler 4P and Crimson Lake livery, that's such a pretty engine, and as far as I'm aware, they've all been scrapped. There's not a single one left, which is a real shame.
I really want to see a J70 built, because who doesn't want to see a moving shed? Coffee and walnut. Coffee and walnut is simply the best cake. That's it. End of. Anyone else is wrong.
Well, whilst I do love a Victoria sponge, it's got to be nearest. Nearest cake is best cake.
Black Forest Gatto. I love Black Forest Gatto. Yeah, that's the best. Or lemon cake. I do like lemon cake.
Definitely a carrot cake.
Well, to be honest, film days are so busy and hectic, we don't really get a chance to stop for food, so usually it's just whatever's the quickest that I can grab and eat while on the go. That's not really that helpful, is it?
If we can get something like a pizza, that's convenient and that's nice. Otherwise, it tends to be whatever meal deal we can get our hands on. We haven't got time to sit eating dinner. It's quick bite of a sandwich, carry on.
Generally, when I'm out filming, I don't stop for food. I just power straight on through the whole day, get everything done, and then at the end of the day go, cool, I'm tired and I'm hungry. But generally, it's just keep shooting, and then realistically, the go-to food is probably Mackie D's, because I'm then hungry, it's the end of the day and I want to get home, so it's get in the car, start heading home, and the only place that's likely going to be open at the time that I'm going to be driving going, I really need some food, will be a McDonald's. So it's not what I fancy, it's just what's available, but disappointingly it's probably Mackey's.
Anything that's edible and warm. I'm not really that picky. I'll take anything as long as it's edible and warm.
The greatest sandwich is either a hot bacon sandwich with some sauce in it, oh that makes me salivate, or close second, a sausage, bacon, egg, a breakfast sandwich when you've got all the breakfast things together, and if you kind of expand upon that and you go even more, so you've got sausage, egg, bacon, a hash brown, maybe some beans in there, oh that's a proper mighty sandwich. There's a place, or there was a place by my friend JD, and they used to do the most amazing, and it was a sandwich like this. It was one that you kind of sat there going, but that was the best place. That was the best place for sandwiches.
Dave's Special is the greatest sandwich, right? You get your bread of choice, you go bacon, you go sausage, you go egg, you go bacon, and then you put your last layer of bread on there. Any sauce you want, should be brown though, and then you eat it, and it immediately goes down you. That's a good day.
Oh, it's got to be salt beef with fresh rocket, real butter on thick sliced tiger bread.
Southern fried chicken sub roll from Tesco. Other supermarkets are available. From where I was born to where I live now, it is quite simply a bacon sandwich.
Well, if it's in a roll, it's a roll. If it's between two slices of bread, it's a sandwich. Also red sauce, but really no sauce.
It's a bacon bap. It's clearly a bacon bap.
Well, if you're making a sandwich and putting bacon in it, that's called a bacon sandwich? Yes, it's a bacon sandwich. And it's got to be brown sauce, because brown sauce was made to be with bacon.
Holy!
Holy. Except when there's no holy available, then coffee.
We are contractually obliged to tell you that our favourite drinks are holy.
I do like a good cup of tea. I'm also a real sucker for a nice cup of coffee. But I also like holy.
How long does it take to shoot and edit a video? Well, that's a bit of a loaded question, because it really depends what kind of video we're doing. Something like this, well, we can all shoot this by ourselves in an afternoon, then it can all come together and be edited together in, say, another afternoon and be ready to go.
Hello everyone, Tom from The Edit here. I'd just like to point out that a standard working day is 8 hours. Lawrie's working day is at least 12 to 15 hours. When Lawrie says an afternoon, he means half a Lawrie day, which could be up to 8 hours. So at this point, he's clearly been doing it so long that his understanding of time is different from everybody else's. So just bear that in mind while he continues his ramble. Back to the video.
Something like Lawrie Goes Loco, well that's going to be at least a day's worth of filming, perhaps 2 days, and then a good day to get it into a rough cut, and then another day worth of just fine-tuning everything. Then, once I've done that, it needs to be sent off to the railway to be approved, and then that will take however long for the railway to have a look at it and get back to me. Then I have to implement any changes that they've made, and then we can release it. So that takes a lot longer, and that's part of the reason that some of these bigger videos take a lot longer to come out on the channel, because YouTube is how I survive. I need this income. This is my sole form of income to survive and keep going. So if I'm faced with the challenge of put out a big video, which is going to take me all week, say, to edit, or do a couple of smaller videos, I'll go for the smaller videos because they're quicker and easier to edit, and they mean that I can actually get videos out. If I spend all my time doing a bigger video and then it takes 2 weeks, a week even, or even a few days for them to approve it, and it misses its release point, that costs me money. That hurts my ability to continue to actually survive. So the smaller videos are frequently the ones that come out because they're quicker and easier to do. That said, there is plenty of stuff in the pile to edit that we just need to get round to, but now I've got the team working on stuff, hopefully you're going to see some of these bigger edits like LMM drives and things like Lemons, which is a multi-day, 4, 5, 6 days of filming, which then takes weeks of editing. All of that footage needs to be brought together, worked through, put it into an order and make a story. Lemons will be weeks worth of work to make that come out, but it is now being worked on. So the answer is, it depends very much on what we're doing and how many people are actually working on the channel. So basically several days.
Now people watch a YouTube video and they think, oh, you probably knock that together in a couple of hours. No. The shoot on its own can be anything from 1 to 3 days, because no matter how much you plan it, you may not be able to get all the shots that you need to get. You might have places, locations that you're visiting that are only open on certain days. You've got to account for the weather. If it throws it down, what are you going to do? You need to come back and do it another day. In terms of the edit, take one of the latest Roaming Red engines where we went across the country on our road trip to go to Rustival. That was a 3-day shoot. We had to drive there, we had Rustival the next day, then we drove back. You can never get there and back in the time that a sat-nav would say, because obviously we need to stop, we need to set up cameras, we need to gather the footage to be able to put the video together. And then the edit itself, you're probably talking 25-30 hours worth of editing at the computer, putting everything together in a base format, then finalising it, tidying everything up, colour grading things, audio, music, finding music that fits with the video. So it's not a 5-minute job, it takes an awfully long time, which is why it's good when we've got the whole team together and everybody's now editing videos. It makes everything smoother.
So the average video takes 4 days, usually a day of planning, a day of actually going and shooting the video, and then a couple of days of editing. But it can take longer or shorter, entirely depending on the video, and sometimes things go wrong and it takes really long. At the moment there's a video I'm actually working on editing that should have taken about 4 hours to film and has taken 3 days because it just didn't go well.
Too long. You're looking about 3 to 4 days. If it's a good easy shoot, that's filming, editing and uploading. The editing can take the most time. You can spend a day filming and then you can spend 2 days, 3 days editing, 4 days on a bad day. But yeah, 3 to 4 days on average.
I quite like to go to more of the motor museums actually. We've done the British Motor Museum because we went there for Rustival. I'd also quite like to go to Bewley. I'd like to go to the Grampian because Lawrie's been up there quite a bit and he really likes it up there. Anything with cars really, I'd like to go and film more cars.
I really would like to go to Canada. Yes, I said Canada because they're Canadians.
I really want to get out to Ireland. That's big on my list at the moment. There's a load of stuff I want to do in Ireland. I really want to get out there. I've always had invitations to go out to Switzerland and I want to go out there. I really want to get up to Norway and do some stuff out like in Scandinavia because I haven't done it yet and I'd like to get out there. But Ireland's big on the list. And then of course I want to get back out to the States. There's a load of stuff I want to do in the States, a load of invitations. I've got to do stuff in the States. And I love America. I really like it. I like the people. I like just how massive it is, and I love being out. Like when I was out in North Carolina, absolutely adored it. I just thought that was fantastic. So yeah, Ireland's big on the list, and America really for me, and Europe. So many places.
So apparently I forgot to answer this question the first time round, and Tom's just told me off for it and told me to go answer it again. So where would I like to go film? Now, I've sort of talked about where I want to go on an adventure, but I haven't really thought about where I want to go film. I mean, I want to film the adventures, of course, but weirdly, I think Singapore. I've seen a few videos online before of the car culture there, and it just looks amazing. Like, the stuff out there is mad. So I'd love to go film there, likewise Japan as well.
Define restoring, because at the moment we've only just finished taking things off one and we've just looked at the other one.
Well, it's slow, dirty fun with mates that hopefully has a happy ending. What's not to love?
Rust, pain, back, ow. Otherwise, it's very rewarding.
Restoring a locomotive it's just a lot of hard work. It's glorious and it's great fun, and the team we've got helping out with the locomotives at the moment are amazing, and we have a really good time, but it's just a lot of manual labour at the moment. It's just hard work, removing bits, cutting bits and cleaning bits. It's not that complicated. Most mechanical things aren't really that complicated, they're just big, and so you just take the bits off and it becomes less big. Like the rust, and so far it's just lots of different bits. So it's just like a big 3D jigsaw. It's amazing though. I stand back occasionally and look at the things like, yeah, we're doing this, we're restoring this, and this is going to be a working locomotive that will be appreciated for generations to come. That's really special. So you really feel attached to like the history of that vehicle, and the fact that it's here because of you, particularly the 165 and the other 48. Without you guys and without me, they might not be here. The 165 would have been cut up and the 48 would still be sat in the scrapyard rotting away. So there's a real sense of pride and a real sense that you've saved something when you look at them going, no, we're sorting this, we saved it and we're going to sort it and we're going to bring it back and it's going to be doing railway things again. That's awesome. And it's also something I've always wanted to do, to be able to have locomotives and restore them. So yeah, it's absolutely glorious, but hard work. Well, the plan for the 3 Rustons is for them to work and to go out places and visit galas and operate services and just to work, to do locomotive things. So restore them and run them, basically, and hopefully go out and visit other places and make content with them.
Get more Rustons, and then get more Rustons. The perfect amount of Rustons is N+1. We always need another one, because we've got to keep ourselves busy.
Well, I got a quote from the local scrappy for 1,500 quid, so I figured that's the next Le Mans budget sorted.
I believe it's to get all 3 of them back to operational condition, sit them next to each other. Obviously then we'll have Sir William, which is already working fine, it's had its repaint, it looks really good. We'll have Sharktooth, which needs a lot of work doing to it obviously, but it is nowhere near as bad as 303. 303 hopefully will get there one day, thanks to all you lovely people that have donated lots of money.
I just really want to get these Rustons done, or at least one done fully, completely. I mean, Sir William is basically there now, but just a few little things to be sorted out on her. But just get one working, 100%, no issues.
I'd really like to see Red Ruth or the Lotus back on the road. I think they'll both be an absolute ton of work to do, but will be really good fun and so worthwhile once they're done.
The thing in the collection that I want to get working on most is Red Ruth. I've had it for so long now, it's the 3rd vehicle I bought, and I want to have the time and the money to just crack on with it. It's the last one, to my knowledge, of the Dodge G13 with the mountain range bodywork, and I just want it working. I want to say to all the naysayers who went, oh, you should get rid of it, you're not doing anything, I just want to crack on and get it done. So hopefully, if the channel keeps doing what it's doing, we're going to have the time to actually get on with that. We have some other projects that we want to finish off, vehicles that we've started that we want to get completed, and when everything else that we kind of started and pulled parts back together, Red Ruth is the next big thing. So Red Ruth is the one project I want to crack on with. I want to have it done, and I want to have the fire engines going out together. That's my big want.
Now there's actually a thing in the shed that no one's seen because it hides at the back, out of shot, no one knows it's there. But hopefully that will come to the channel at some point soon, because I keep pestering Lawrie to make a start on it, and hopefully when we come around to setting one of these next projects up, that will be high on the agenda. So watch this space. First of all, it's got a pump installed, it's just not plugged in. The pump does work, we just need to get around to actually plumbing it in, because it was taken out, it was tested, it worked fine. It went back into the machine, it just needs the plumbing sorting out. But it's literally the best thing in the shed. I would say that, obviously, because I drive it a lot. But it is the best. It's one of the, how many times can you say that you've been out in a fire engine, you've driven a fire engine, oh, I know someone that's got a fire engine. I love driving that thing. That makes you feel something that you don't feel driving a car or driving anything else or driving a lorry at work. It's raw. You've got that thumping big diesel V8 under your bum. You've got a manual gearbox. Everything's just manual, no assistance. Oh, brilliant. Love it.
It has a water pump. You're chatting.
Jupes and being out in Jupes is the single greatest joy I think I've ever experienced on the road. I love being out in that truck. It's such a characterful machine, and for all of you who came and had a ride in it at LMM Fest, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. She's just magic. It's a magic machine. I love being in it, I love the sound of it, and I love going out in it. I don't think anything in this world that I love as much as Jupes. I absolutely adore that truck, and I love being in it. And I think, to be honest, the rest of the team feel the same way. I know Tom is head over heels with her as well. Like, we love Jupes. We absolutely love it, and just being able to take her out and do stuff with her, it's fantastic. We will get the pump sorted. She will work again, but she's still Jupes, and she's still glorious even without the pump.
I'm pretty sure Jupiter has a pump, so that would make her useful. Plus, it's a fire engine. It's just great. No, because my wallet is not big enough for something like that.
Well, an old fire engine like Jupes is expensive, impractical, slow, and expensive. So absolutely, yes, I would. It's hysterical fun, genuinely. It's one of the most fun I've had out and about doing things. It's so worth it. Yes, I would. As long as you have somewhere to store it, that's the big thing. They're not small.
I'd recommend one of your friends buying an old fire engine, because then when it goes wrong, they pay for it, and I don't have to pay anything. I just go and steal it and use it. So I guess the answer to that question is ask Lawrie's wallet.
In all honesty, yes, I'd recommend having a vintage truck like Jupes. Jupes has been a joy, and I've loved it. It's been a pain in the backside, and it's given me many headaches, but actually I love it, and it makes up for it. Like, when it works and it does what I needed to do, it's been glorious. There are a couple of caveats though. You need to have somewhere to work on it, and you need to store it under cover. It's not the kind of thing you can just have parked outside on the drive. It won't be happy. It just won't work. But if you've got the space, if you've got a barn or a really big garage, go for it, because for what they are, they're cheap. For a lorry of that size, they are cheap. They've generally done really low mileage, and they're awesome. And they're also tax exempt because they're a fire engine. They're not MOT exempt because it's a fire engine. That's a common grey area, but no, you still need to get not an MOT, because MOTs only apply to vehicles up to 3.5 tonne, a large vehicle annual exam. It still needs one of those because you're taking it on the road, but it is tax exempt, which is quite nice. But they're just really fun vehicles. Also, to a degree, a fire engine's really important, because there are people alive today who are alive because of that machine. Obviously, the people went with it who are vitally important, and they are literally heroes. But without the appliance that got there and helped them fight the fire, literally people today and their children and their grandchildren wouldn't be here. So Jupes has got a huge legacy. It's done so much, and people owe their existence to it. And just to look after her and to keep her, I think it's a really important thing, because it's such a big part of so many people's stories. So yeah, vintage fire engines, they're great, and something that we should look after and make sure the ones that survive in preservation continue to be looked after and loved, because they're so important. Yes, the modular railway is extending. We're actually doing it at the moment. There are boards in the construction progress as we record this video. So hopefully this year there's going to be more boards, multiple more boards coming out and going to shows. So you should be able to see those at various different places throughout the year. Hopefully, if we finish building them. And I need to fix mine.
Yes, there is. We were actually filming a couple of weeks ago, building some new modules for the NCMA modular layout, which hopefully you'll see coming up soon.
No, it's long enough as it is.
Well, yeah, that's the point, is to make it bigger and 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 bigger.
Once Red Roof is back up and running, I'd really like to do a convoy of the two fire engines down somewhere on holiday. I don't know, south of France? That sounds very exotic, doesn't it? Yeah, fire engines to the south of France. That'd be fun.
I really want to get one Ruston 48, a Mark 1 coach, and then another Ruston 48, and then go up and down the North Yorkshire Moors Railway in an HST style at 12 miles an hour. Because Who wouldn't enjoy that?
I want to do more lemons. I want to take cheap cars to ridiculous places. I want to drive cars to the ends of the world. I want to drive across the UK. I want to go back to Scotland. I want to take cars to Europe. And I want to show you that you don't need expensive high performance cars to have a good time. I want to show you that with low money you can buy something fun and you can have an amazing adventure with it. That's what I want to do. That's the kind of adventure I want to do. And I want to take the low-cost places. I want to take the locos to different railways and have adventures with my locos at different railways. That's another big thing that I want to do. So I want to move them and do things with them. But yeah, definitely more lemons. I want to go on driving adventures and I want to go out and I want to show you, I just want to show off the fact that there's good cars out there for not much money and you can have an awful lot of fun.
I'd really like to do some more road trips. There are plans for us to bring back lemons, and that is really exciting. We've already come up with some ideas of what we could potentially get up to on those trips, where we could go, what we could do, what the themes are going to be. But road trips for me are the best sort of trip we could do. 100%. Thank you again, phone. Now that, I guarantee Dave asked that. That's the sort of thing Dave would ask. And because of that, you're not getting an answer, Dave. Sorry.
It's got to be 1,000 spider-sized horses, right? Because they're tiny. Like a horse-sized spider would be a nightmare. But lots of little horses, I could probably deal with lots of little horses. I mean, that would just be like, you know, just knock them away. That surely wouldn't be that hard. No, that's a rubbish question.
What kind of spider?
The problem is you haven't really defined your question. So are we talking like a Shire horse, you know, like the HGV of the horse world? Are we talking like a Shetland pony, you know, the compact city car of the horse world? Or are we talking like a normal horse, the equivalent of like a horse Mondeo? You haven't, there are so many open interpretations there, and it really is important to know. Then on the note of spiders, you also haven't defined what spider we're going to use. I mean, if it's a tarantula, good. Do you think it would eat humans?
And that brings us to the end of this video celebrating 120,000 subscribers, and I really hope you've enjoyed getting to meet the new team and finding out a bit more about them. These are the guys who are going to be helping running LMM behind the scenes and the ones who will be appearing on the screen moving forward. So I really hope you enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed this one, how about clicking over there for the 20k special and see how things have changed, or down there for some other LMM adventure. And thank you all very much for the support. Thank you so much for subscribing and making LMM what it is. 120,000 subscribers. I'm so excited for what the future will bring. So let's roll on 150k and let's get this channel really going. Thank you to all of you. Without you, there wouldn't be any LMM and there would be no point in doing it. So thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. And tra! I'll see you at, I don't know, 150k, I guess. Or, you know, the next video we release, so I'll probably see you there.